you mentioned that a lot of times guys don't have access. And so I would like for you to speak to the part of a guy paying child support and not being able to see his child. And so from where I sit, of doing a lot of this work, that there has been a narrative, right, in the community, social media, television have painted a picture, specifically men of color, right? Deadbeat, not being involved, but a lot of times people don't know the story behind the story, right? And so a lot of guys that we see sometimes, they're paying child support and don't have access. And I know I brought up a couple things, but I would like for you guys to speak to the reality of a father who really wants to be involved, but the other party fighting tooth and nail for whatever reason did not get access.
I'm going to start off with the bigger picture of this, of what you just said here. Remember why, I'll give you a history lesson, right? Why did friend of the court come into an existence, right? At some point, we had a lot of money in the country to give to social programs, right? We're passing it out, taking care of kids and everything or whatever, ladies and all the above, right? At some point, the budgets start tightening up. So what did they say? They said, we need to start going after these men who fathered these children. That's kind of how it all started. They started saying, okay, let's enforce these orders. So that's why you have, it's actually a criminal that goes to a prosecutor to actually come up with an order, right? The first thing when a lady has a child and they need services, the first thing they ask them is, who's daddy? Because the goal is to get the dad to start making sure that they paying something back to the state for the services that are being rendered for those children. So that's the mindset. That's how this whole system started off. That's where you got the prosecutor's office. That's their job, to get an order. That's their job, right? Their number one job is to get an order for money to pay back and make sure the kids are supported. The problem with that system and that thought is no one asked at that time, like, hey, do you want to see your child? Do you want to spend time with your child? Because they have a goal, right? They get federal dollars to make sure that they are getting orders to get someone to pay back this child support. Well, that's where we come in at, because you have people like this guy here, Joe Beauchamp, is one of our parenting time caseworkers. So what we started noticing is that
Who was really cool about it?
what we started noticing is that these orders were not addressing parenting time. So a young guy comes to my office when I was a caseworker, and I'm like, first thing they say, I can't see my kid. And the first question I got to ask them is, do you have an order? Because remember, our office enforces orders. You don't remember anything else we do. We enforce orders. Now, we can talk about how we did it in a not so smart way in the past and how we're trying to do it now, but that's what we do. So if we don't have an order for you to have your child, our visitations and parenting time, we don't have anything, right? So first step is, so that was frustrating to sit here and talk on one hand about this person paying, and the other hand, I can't really help you because now I got to help you get an order so you can see your child, because the prosecutors, when they started the orders, they didn't do anything about that. So that's why anyone I talk to whatsoever, I don't care how good you think your relationship is, every young man that has an order, I tell them, get an order for parenting time. Because the moment something doesn't go right, and a lot of guys tell me, oh, it's fine, we're good, I'll see him anytime. And then the moment something happens, it's not so good. And guess what? They have the control because there's no order. And that's one of the frustrating things that we go through, and we're always pushing that. So that's kind of like the history of why it's set up like that. Yes, it's very frustrating. Now, we do have the prosecutors to the point, the good thing about it, the prosecutors are in our office now. So we can go down the hall and say, hey guys, can you put a little bit something to deal with visitation and parenting time into orders? Even though it's very basic and it's a headache, it's a step. But that's the history of it. That's why you see orders, because they have a job to do, and that's to collect money. And that's what they look at. Now I'm gonna,
If I can ask Joe, so from your seat of enforcing some of the orders or whatever, so a lot of times guys may feel like the system is set up for mom and it doesn't support men. Like, so from your lens and your seat, is that true?
Yes and no, because there are dads that deny mom parenting time as well. Okay?
Could you say that again?
there are dads that deny mom's parenting time as well. So it goes both ways. But the majority of, so I'm a parenting time caseworker at the front of the court, and I enforce parenting time orders, okay? So majority of the time is mom denying dad parenting time, okay? But it happens both ways. But I'm very passionate about it, and if I have a young man reaching out to me saying, hey, I want to see my kids, the first thing we do is we see if there's an order, okay? If there's no order, we got to file a motion, to get some parenting time to see your child, okay? After that, when there is a parenting time order, we're going to enforce it, okay? And what that involves is, let's say it's weekend parenting time, you're going to pick up your kid, and mom denies you. You put in a parenting time complaint. I send out a 21-day violation letter. I call both parties, let's settle this. Can't figure it out, we set up for a show cause hearing, and it goes in front of the judge, okay? So, me, I'm very passionate. I want parents to see their children, mom, dad, what have you, okay? So, that's kind of my spiel about parenting time.
Sorry, I don't know which one of you guys can answer. So is there any way that you guys have like any advice or suggestion for certain individuals who struggle with that process? It's like, you know what I mean? So it's like, with me, myself in particular, I've been listening to advice for years, and I've been trying things for years, but being by myself, I haven't been accomplishing anything, getting anything done. I haven't been in the courtroom or whatever. I have to finalize things, but it's like, whatever I'm not doing, I'm also not getting help in that area. And so it's like, I really don't know what to do myself, because even the advice and stuff I get from people, I find myself downtown, just signing papers, wasting time. I spend like $50 here, $50 there. You know, my son 15 now. And I ask people all the time, and I think they think that I might be somewhat more capable of whatever the requirements might be, but I'm actually not. And so I'm like, whatever that step is that I'm missing.
Are you in their program now? Are you in the impact program?
Yeah, I
You're
believe it's impact.
taking a great first step right there. Right? That's why we're here. So that's the first step right there. And I don't know all the advice. I don't know if I've met, you look familiar, I may have talked to you sometimes, but that's the first step right there. Is getting, you said you're looking for help. You feel like you're by yourself. When you're not by yourself, that's why we're here.
Well, I understand that, and I appreciate the environment and the support, of course, but nothing that I have done in my life and nothing that I'm doing now is proceeding my process.
Have you sat down at our office with a caseworker?
I haven't done, I've been trying to get navigated to see my son, but I haven't. What I'm saying is there's no plan.
So you have an order for child support right now?
I'm not, no, I don't think so.
Oh, you never? You know, okay, you don't know for sure yet, okay.
I'm honestly, I have a hard time understanding what everything means. I'm a great dad though. The only thing I can't do is the paperwork.
You have an ID on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Tomorrow morning, what are you doing about 8:15 tomorrow morning?
I mean, if it's concerning that, I can make it.
Okay.
I work,
I'm gonna give you my card. Come down to the front of the court tomorrow morning. We're gonna get you with a caseworker to look at your case and see where you're at.
Okay.
So you're not sure if you have a case yet. So that's the first thing, and that's what we talk about. Once you get involved in the system, understand the system, then you start making it work for you. And that's the first step, knowing what's going on. We can have a bench warrant on you right now. You know, I don't know. So that's the first step, is to know what's going on, and here's what I tell people all the time: don't ever ignore anything from the courts, anything from the prosecutor's office. Don't ignore it, because guess what? It doesn't go away. They don't say, oh, well, you know, we didn't get an answer for him, let's move on. No, they don't move on. They'll move on, all right, with an order, and then they get it to us, and if we can't reach you, that money is building up. So don't ignore any, that's for everybody. Don't ignore any paperwork that comes to your house. Yeah.
But my question is, are you guys female staff is on board with trying to?
Okay.
Because they got a funkiest attitude like we in a relationship.
Yeah. So here's, oh yeah, no. So here's one thing you'll notice on me. You and I have interacted a couple times. One thing I do is I'm always acknowledge. So when he just said, John made a point about people feel like the system is against men. That's absolutely true. That's exactly how everybody feels about friend of the court, right? Friend of the woman, right? We know that, right? So I acknowledge that. I apologize for that, but I'm not going to sit and keep debating that, because that's wasting time. I've acknowledged it, I apologize for it, now let's move on. Now, we have 85 people in that office, 85 people right there, right? We have 70 of those are women, right? So, I mean, I can't control everyone, but I can tell you this, if you have a problem with someone, then I need to know that. So if you have a bad interaction, we're gonna deal with that part, because there's one thing we don't accept is bad customer service. You might not like what they tell you, right? And they gotta give it to you, whatever, but we don't want them to be rude, so I need to know these things. You just threw out a name to me. So I need to know when this happened, what was the interaction, we look it up, we'll take care of that part. But like I said, I can't promise you, you just asked a question. There's a reason that I brought this young man here with me, right? This one here, I know what he does every day, and he does a good job. I'm not gonna bring one of the workers out that don't care, right? I wouldn't do that. So obviously, I apologize if you had a bad experience, but that's the other beauty of this here. You're gonna have my card, and you can get with us on these type of things, right?